Hello, traveler. You've wandered far tonight, not just across land, but across time itself. As your breathing slows and the noise of the modern world gently fades away, you find yourself standing beneath a deep indigo sky, thousands of years in the past, on the west bank of the Nile in ancient Egypt, the sacred side of the river, where the sun sets and the journey into the afterlife begins. The air is warm and still, wrapped in the soft scent of incense and river water. Palm trees sway quietly nearby, their leaves brushing together with a slow rhythmic hush. Somewhere in the distance an oar dips into the Nile, sending ripples of silver moonlight across the dark surface. Tonight you are not a visitor. Tonight you are an embalmer. This is your very first night working alone in the Pur. Nefer, the house of beauty, where bodies are carefully prepared so the soul may recognize itself for eternity. It is calm here, reverent, nothing is rushed. You did not arrive at this role by accident. In ancient Egypt, embalmers were trained through long apprenticeships, often beginning in youth. You learned by watching, listening, and practicing under the guidance of a master embalmer, a quiet figure who spoke of death not as an ending, but as a doorway. You were taught that every human is made of many parts: the body, the kai, the bay, and the ash, all needing care, balance, and respect. Without proper preparation, the journey to the afterlife would be uncertain. You memorized prayers spoken to Anubis, guardian of mummification, whose watchful presence is felt even when unseen. You learned which materials preserve, which protect, and which must never be mixed carelessly. And now the time has come. Oil lamps glow softly ahead, illuminating pale stone walls and gently fluttering linen curtains. Shadows move slowly, dancing across the floor as if the room itself is breathing. Before entering, you pause. You rinse your hands in cool water poured from a smooth clay vessel, washing away the dust of the day. Fragrant oils, cedar, myrrh, and pine resin are rubbed into your palms, steadying your mind and grounding you in the present moment. Inside, a single form rests upon a low stone table, wrapped in clean linen awaiting your care. There is no fear here, only purpose, only calm. We stand quietly beside our patient and allow ourselves a moment to truly see him. This is not just a body, but a man who lived a full life. His name is Nebu. He was a scribe, someone trusted with words, records, and memory. Knowing this matters. It shapes the care we give and reminds us why this work is done with patience rather than haste. This is our first night as a true embalmer. The chamber feels different because of it. The torches burn low and steady, and the air is cool against our skin. There is a gentle weight to the silence, not heavy, but purposeful. We were trained for this moment. Now we begin. The first step is cleansing. At our side is a shallow bowl filled with cool water mixed with natron and aromatic herbs. We take a clean linen cloth and submerge it, then wring it slowly. This part of the process prepares the body for preservation, but it also marks a transition, separating the physical remains from the world of the living. We work methodically, starting at the shoulders and moving downward. Each movement is slow and deliberate. Dust, oil, and traces of daily life are gently removed. The rhythm of the task is calming, and with each pass of the cloth, our confidence grows. The scent of the herbs softens the air, grounding us in the present moment. We pause to inspect our work. Everything is clean, balanced as it should be. Nothing here is rushed, especially on our first night. Embalming is a craft learned through repetition, observation, and respect for tradition. When the cleansing is complete, We dry the skin carefully using fresh linen. The body must be fully dry before the next stages can begin. We then take a small amount of cedar oil and warm it between our hands. This oil protects the skin and keeps it supple, helping to prevent damage during preservation. It is applied sparingly with care and intention. The tools nearby wait patiently for later stages. For now, our role is preparation. The chamber remains quiet, the torch is steady. We wash our hands once more, not because they are dirty, but because ritual matters. Standing beside our patient, calm and focused, we understand that the work has truly begun. This first night is about learning the rhythm of the process, trusting our training, and allowing ourselves to settle into the role we have been given. The gods watch quietly, and the chamber holds its peace as we continue. With the body prepared externally, we move into the most technical part of the work, the stage that transforms preparation into preservation. On our first night, this is where concentration matters most. The chamber remains quiet, the torch is steady, and we remind ourselves that every step has been practiced many times under watchful guidance. We select the small bronze blade reserved for this purpose. It is sharp but narrow, designed to create a precise incision rather than cause damage. Tradition guides our hand to the left side of the body, an accepted placement that allows the work to be done respectfully and efficiently. The incision is made cleanly and without force. It is small, deliberate, and controlled. The internal organs cannot remain within the body. Heat and moisture would cause decay, and preservation would fail. One by one, the organs are removed carefully and placed on clean linen nearby. The heart is left in place. It is believed to be the seat of thought, memory, and judgment, and it will be needed in the afterlife. Everything else must be preserved separately. Nearby stand the canopic jars, each prepared in advance. They are not ordinary containers. Each jar is associated with a protective figure, tasked with guarding its contents for eternity. The organs will later be cleaned, dried with natron, treated with resins, and sealed away. For now, we work methodically, ensuring nothing is rushed or mishandled. Once the internal space is cleared, it must be purified. Palm wine is poured gently inside the body, followed by fragrant resins and oils. These substances cleanse and protect, slowing decay and restoring balance. The scent fills the chamber, warm and resinous, grounding the moment and steadying the breath. Next comes the natron. This naturally occurring salt is essential to embalming. It draws moisture from the body and halts the processes of decay. We pack the natron carefully inside the cavity, placing it evenly and gently. Over many days, it will do its work quietly and effectively, guided by time rather than hands. When this stage is complete, we clean the incision area thoroughly and prepare it for closure at a later time. Nothing is sealed yet. Tonight is about setting the foundation correctly. Mistakes here cannot be undone. We step back and wash our hands slowly, setting the tools aside in their proper order. On this first night, there is a sense of quiet accomplishment. The body now rests in the care of natron, resin, and ancient knowledge. Much of the work will continue without us, drying and preserving in silence, as we prepare to return and continue the long ritual in the days ahead. With the natron placed and the internal work set in motion, the nature of our role begins to change. From this point forward, much of embalming is no longer about action, but observation. Preservation depends on time, dryness, and patience. On our first night, learning to wait is just as important as learning to act. We arrange the body so air can circulate freely around it, ensuring that moisture does not linger where it should not. Natron is spread beneath and around the body as well, forming a dry bed that will slowly draw water away from the skin and muscle. This step is essential. Without complete drying, the body cannot endure the long journey ahead. The chamber itself becomes part of the process. Its thick stone walls keep the temperature cool and stable. The low light prevents heat. Even the quiet serves a purpose, allowing the work to proceed undisturbed. Embalmers understood that preservation was influenced by environment as much as technique. Throughout the coming days, the body will be checked regularly. We will return to brush away dampened salt and replace it with fresh natron. This is done carefully, with attention to detail. Areas like the hands, feet, and face require special care, as they dry more quickly and can become fragile if neglected. Tonight, however, we perform only the first inspection. We look for balance. The natron is absorbing moisture as it should. The skin is already beginning to tighten slightly, a sign that the process has begun. Everything is progressing correctly. While we work, we quietly recite protective words, not spoken loudly but murmured with intention. These are not dramatic rituals, but simple invocations asking that the body remain whole, that decay be halted, and that the spirit not lose its way. Religion and medicine are not separate here. They move together, shaping every step. Before leaving the chamber, we record our actions. As embalmers, we keep careful notes. What was done, when it was done, and what must be done next. This record ensures continuity and care, especially important for a long preservation lasting many weeks. We clean our tools thoroughly, wiping them with oil to prevent corrosion, and return them to their proper places. Order matters, precision matters. Especially on our first night, we take comfort in following established practice. At last we dim the torches slightly, enough to preserve light without warmth. The body remains at rest, surrounded by natron, stone, and silence. Preservation continues, even in our absence. As we step away, we understand that embalming is not a single act, but a sustained devotion. Tonight has set everything in motion. Time will now do its quiet work, and we will return to guide it, step by careful step. When we return to the chamber, the air feels subtly different, drier, still. The natron has begun its work even in our absence, drawing moisture away slowly and evenly. This stage lasts many days, and each visit follows the same careful rhythm. Consistency is what preserves the body, not haste. We approach quietly and begin our inspection. The natron beneath and around the body has absorbed moisture and hardened slightly in places. Using clean hands and a shallow wooden scoop, we remove the dampened salt and set it aside. Fresh natron is poured gently in its place, ensuring the body remains surrounded by dryness on all sides. Particular care is given to the hands, the feet, and the face, areas that require balance rather than excess. The skin has changed. It is firmer now, tighter, evidence that the water is leaving the body as intended. There is no unpleasant scent. That tells us the preservation is proceeding correctly. We pause often, allowing ourselves to observe before acting. Experience teaches patience, but even on our first job we understand the importance of restraint. Each day follows this pattern. Remove, replace, observe, record. Between tasks, we murmur simple protective phrases, not elaborate prayers, but steady repetitions passed down through generations. They are meant to remind us and the body that this process is guided and watched. After many days, when the drying is complete, the natron has finished its work. The body is now fully preserved, lightened by the absence of moisture. This marks a shift in the process. We carefully remove the remaining salt and clean the skin once more, preparing it for restoration rather than drying. Warm water and fragrant oils are used to gently cleanse away the remaining residue. The skin is treated with resins and protective balms, restoring flexibility and scent. This step prevents cracking and prepares the body for wrapping. Features are softened. The face regains a peaceful, familiar appearance. The internal cavity is addressed again, cleaned thoroughly, and filled with linen packets soaked in resin and aromatic substances. This replaces what was removed and restores form and balance. The incision is closed carefully, sometimes sealed with resin or a metal plate, depending on tradition and status. As we work, we feel a quiet confidence growing. The body is no longer in transition. It is preserved, protected, prepared. The chamber feels lighter now, as if its purpose has been fulfilled in stages. Soon the long work of wrapping will begin, layer by layer, word by word, binding body and spirit together once more. For now we stand quietly beside our patient, aware that this first embalming has taught us something essential. Preservation is not just technique. It is attention, repetition, and care extended over time. And in this chamber of stone and silence, that care has become something lasting. With preservation complete, the purpose of the work shifts once more. The body is no longer being dried or treated. It is now ready to be protected, shaped, and prepared for eternity. This stage is the longest and most deliberate of all, and it is where embalming becomes both craft and ritual. We begin by gathering the linen. Long strips, woven carefully and stored clean and dry, are brought to the table. Linen matters deeply. It is associated with purity, light, and order. Each strip will be applied with intention, not simply wrapped, but placed in a way that supports and protects the form beneath. Before the first layer is laid down, the skin is coated lightly with warmed resin and oil. This helps the linen adhere and seals the body against moisture. The scent is comforting now, familiar after so many days in the chamber. It signals that the work has entered its final phase. We start at the feet. Wrapping always begins here, anchoring the body before moving upward. The linen is drawn snugly, but not tight, ensuring shape without strain. Each turn overlaps the last, creating strength through repetition. As we work, we speak softly, reciting protective phrases meant to bind the body and spirit together. Small amulets are placed carefully between layers, a scarab at the chest to guard the heart, protective symbols at the hands and throat. These are not decorative. Each one has a purpose, positioned deliberately to protect specific aspects of the soul in the afterlife. Layer by layer, the body is wrapped. Resin is brushed on periodically, dark and glossy, sealing each section before the next is added. This takes time. Hours pass unnoticed as the rhythm of wrapping becomes steady and almost meditative. Hands move with growing confidence, guided by tradition and repetition. The face is treated with particular care. Linen is shaped gently to preserve familiar features, allowing the person to be recognized beyond death. The goal is not to hide, but to protect what remains. As the final layers are applied, the body feels complete again, restored in a new form, strong, sealed, and prepared for its next journey. We step back to observe our work. The wrappings are even, secure, balanced. On our first embalming, this moment carries quiet pride. Nothing has been rushed, nothing neglected. The chamber feels calm, resolved. Soon the mummy will be moved, placed within its coffin and surrounded by further prayers and offerings. But for now, we stand beside our patient, understanding that the long process has reached one of its most meaningful milestones. In silence and steady torchlight, the work continues, one careful layer at a time, binding eternity through patience, linen, and care. With the wrapping finished, our attention turns away from linen and toward what will hold it. The body will not remain on the table. It must be housed, protected, and identified so that it may be recognized and honored for generations. This part of the work is quieter, but no less important. Along one wall of the chamber rests the coffin prepared in advance. It is made of wood, sealed with resin to protect it from insects and moisture. The surface has been smoothed carefully, ready to receive paint and inscriptions. Before anything else, we inspect it for faults, running our hands along the inner surface to check for splinters or gaps that could damage the wrappings. Inside the coffin, a layer of clean linen is laid down, followed by a thin coating of resin. This creates a final barrier against damp and decay. Some families can afford multiple coffins, one nested inside another, but tonight we work with what has been provided. Even a single coffin, when prepared correctly, offers lasting protection. We gather the identification markers, a small wooden tag bearing Nebu's name and titles, simple but essential. Without this, the body could be lost to time. We secure the tag carefully, ensuring it will remain visible and intact. The transfer itself requires care and coordination. There is no lifting in haste. We adjust our grip slowly, supporting the body evenly so the wrappings do not shift or strain. Each movement is deliberate, practiced until it feels natural. The body is lowered into the coffin gently, resting within the shaped interior as it was designed to do. Once placed, we make final adjustments. The head is aligned, the shoulders are settled. Any loose linen is smoothed and secured. Small protective charms may be added at this stage, tucked quietly where they will not disturb the wrappings. We step back and observe. The coffin now holds more than a preserved body. It holds identity, memory, and preparation. The work here ensures that Nebu will not be forgotten, that his name will continue to be spoken. The lid is not sealed yet. That comes later, after further rituals and inscriptions are complete. For now, the coffin remains open, the chamber still active with purpose. As the torches flicker, we clean our hands and tools once again. This part of the process feels different from wrapping, less repetitive, more reflective. On our first night, we understand that embalming is not a single craft, but many small disciplines woven together. We leave the chamber in ordered quiet, knowing the work will continue, shifting shape but never breaking its calm, steady flow. With the body resting securely within the coffin, the chamber enters a quieter phase of work. There is no urgency now. This stage is about recognition and protection, making certain that the individual placed before us will be known, named, and guided correctly beyond this life. We bring forward the tools for inscription. Simple brushes, small bowls of pigment made from ground minerals, and thin carving instruments. The inner surface of the coffin is addressed first. Words are added carefully, chosen from well-known texts meant to protect, guide, and reassure. These are not improvised. They have been copied and preserved for generations, trusted because they endure. Nebu's name is written clearly. His titles follow. This matters more than decoration. In the afterlife, the name must be recognized. To lose it would mean confusion or wandering. By writing it here, we anchor identity, ensuring that the spirit knows where it belongs. Symbols are added next. Protective figures, eyes to watch the path ahead, lines meant to guide breath and sight. Each mark is deliberate, evenly spaced, and checked before moving on. The work is slow and repetitive in the most calming way. Brush to surface, pause, inspect, continue. As night deepens, the chamber grows cooler. The torches are kept low so the pigments can dry properly. This is a time for vigil rather than labor. One of us remains nearby, seated quietly, ensuring nothing is disturbed. The presence itself is part of the ritual. The dead should never be left unattended at this stage. During the vigil, short prayers are spoken at intervals, not continuously, just enough to maintain connection. These words reaffirm protection, asking that no harm come to the body or spirit during the still hours of the night. Silence fills the space between them, thick but peaceful. When the inscriptions are complete and the pigments set, we prepare for sealing. Resin is warmed slowly until it reaches the proper consistency. Too thin and it will not bind. Too thick and it will crack. This balance comes with practice, and on our first night we move carefully, checking and adjusting. The lid is positioned but not yet closed. One final inspection is made. The body is aligned, the wrappings are intact. The name is clear. Only when everything is correct do we proceed. As the first hint of dawn approaches, the coffin is sealed. Resin is applied along the edges, binding lid to base, creating a protective barrier that will harden as the light grows stronger outside. This moment feels final, but not heavy. The work has been done properly. We step back and allow the resin to cool. The chamber settles into stillness once more. Our first embalming nears completion, not with drama, but with quiet certainty. The process has carried us from preparation to preservation, from movement to stillness, guided by patience, knowledge, and care. With the coffin sealed and resting quietly in the chamber, the work enters its final stage. The body is preserved, protected, and named, but tradition requires one more act of care before the journey can truly begin. Offerings must be made, not out of obligation, but respect. Small tables are brought forward and arranged beside the coffin. Upon them are placed simple but meaningful items: bread baked earlier in the day, a bowl of clean water, a small measure of beer, and a handful of fruit. These offerings are symbolic, meant to sustain the spirit as it awakens to the next world. Nothing extravagant is required. What matters is intention. We arrange each item carefully, aligning them neatly and stepping back to ensure balance. Disorder has no place here. The offerings are positioned so they can be easily seen, acknowledged, and accepted. As we work, we speak Nebu's name softly once more, anchoring him to what has been prepared. The chamber feels different now, lighter. The tension of responsibility has eased, replaced by a calm sense of completion. Our first embalming is nearly finished, and the weight we carried at the beginning of the night has softened into quiet confidence. Before the coffin is moved, it must rest undisturbed. This pause allows the resin to harden fully and gives time for the final prayers to settle. We remain nearby, seated or standing quietly, maintaining presence rather than action. Silence does most of the work now. As the night fades, early light begins to touch the edges of the chamber. The torches are allowed to burn low, no longer needed as guides. The world outside stirs, but here everything remains steady and contained. When it is time, preparations are made for transfer. The path from chamber to tomb has already been cleared and marked. This movement will not be rushed. The coffin will be carried carefully, supported evenly, ensuring no strain or disturbance. We place our hands against the sealed wood one final time, not to check our work, but to acknowledge it. This body has been entrusted to us, and we have done what tradition and knowledge required. The task is complete. As the coffin is lifted and prepared to be moved, we feel something settle within ourselves. A quiet understanding that this work will never feel ordinary, no matter how many times it is done. Each body, each name, each journey matters. The chamber is left clean and ordered. Tools are stored. Surfaces are wiped. Nothing remains unfinished. When the doors close behind us, the space returns to silence, holding only the memory of careful hands and ancient practice. Our first night as an embalmer ends not with exhaustion but with stillness. The work has been steady, the process complete, and as dawn rises beyond the stone walls, we know we have taken our first true step into a craft shaped by patience, reverence, and time. The path from the embalming chamber to the tomb is quiet at this hour. The air outside is cool, touched with the last shadows of night, and the sounds of the waking world have not yet reached us. This is the best time for transfer. The stillness keeps the work respectful and undisturbed. The coffin is carried slowly, supported evenly, each step measured. There is no need for speed. The body within is protected now, and haste would only break the calm that has followed us through every stage of this process. As we walk, we remain aware of the weight, not just of the wood and resin, but of responsibility. The tomb entrance comes into view, carved into stone and marked with familiar symbols. This space has been prepared in advance, chosen carefully to ensure dryness, stability, and protection from the elements. The Egyptians believed deeply in permanence. A resting place must endure as long as possible, just as the body within it does. Inside, the tomb is cool and dark, the air still. The coffin is lowered into position with care, aligned so the head faces the proper direction, allowing the spirit to recognize its place when it returns. Small adjustments are made until everything feels correct. Balance is checked, stability confirmed. Around the coffin, additional items are arranged. Simple tools, personal objects, small vessels of food and drink. These are not luxuries but necessities, meant to support the spirit as it learns to move through the afterlife. Everything is placed deliberately, nothing scattered or careless. Final words are spoken here, not loudly, not dramatically. These are closing words meant to seal intention rather than command attention. They ask for safe passage, recognition, and peace. The tomb receives them without echo, holding them close. Once the offerings are set and the coffin rests fully in place, we step back. This is the final moment of contact. After this, the space belongs to the dead and the gods alone. The entrance will be sealed, stone against stone, creating a barrier against time itself. As the tomb is closed, a familiar quiet settles in. It is not sorrowful. It is complete. The journey that began in the embalming chamber has reached its intended end. The body is preserved. The name is spoken. The resting place is secure. We linger for a moment longer, acknowledging the work that has been done. This was our first embalming, our first full passage from preparation to placement. It has taught us that this craft is not defined by any single act, but by steady attention over time. As we leave the tomb behind and return to the light, we carry that understanding with us. The night's work is finished, the process fulfilled. And somewhere beyond stone and silence, a journey continues, guided by care, memory, and the ancient rhythm we have learned to follow. With the tomb sealed and the final prayers spoken, we return quietly to the embalming chamber. The space feels changed now, emptier, lighter, as if its purpose has gently drifted away. The body that once anchored every movement and thought is gone, carried onward toward eternity. What remains is stone, torchlight, and the faint lingering sense of resin, cedar oil, and natron held in the air. This last task is never rushed. Cleaning the chamber is part of the work, not an afterthought. Order is essential here. A careless space would dishonor the careful journey that has just been completed. We begin with the tools. Each one is gathered slowly, deliberately, as if acknowledging its role. The bronze blade is wiped free of resin and salt, then rinsed in clean water and dried thoroughly. We examine its edge, ensuring it remains true, before wrapping it in linen and setting it aside. The slender hook is soaked and polished until it gleams softly in the torchlight, its curve catching the glow as we turn it in our hands. Stone and ceramic bowls are emptied and scrubbed clean. Traces of oil and natron are removed with steady circular motions, the sound of cloth against stone slow and repetitive. Used linen is folded carefully. Some will be cleansed and reused. Other pieces, having completed their purpose, will be respectfully discarded according to tradition. We sweep the floor, gathering fine white dust and small fragments that settled unnoticed over many days. The stone table is washed last. Water is poured slowly across its surface and wiped away, restoring its pale color and cool stillness. As we work, the chamber seems to breathe more easily, the heaviness lifting little by little. This quiet work gives space for reflection. We think back through every stage of the process, from the first cleansing to the final sealing of the tomb. On a first assignment, these moments matter. They teach restraint, patience, and care. Nothing here is dramatic. Nothing is hurried. The craft reveals itself through repetition and respect. When the tools are fully dry, they are returned to their proper places, aligned neatly and stored where they will wait in silence. The chamber now resembles itself again, no longer a place of labor, but a space prepared for future work. At the doorway, we pause and look back one final time. There is nothing left undone. The work has been completed fully and carefully, from beginning to end. This quiet ending feels right. One by one, the torches are extinguished, leaving the chamber in darkness. The stone door closes softly behind us, sealing in calm rather than loss. Our first night as an embalmer has truly ended now, not with celebration, but with cleanliness, stillness, and understanding. The space is ready. The work is finished. And as we step out into the cool night air, we carry with us the steady knowledge that this careful, quiet closing is as important as every step that came before it. We step away from the embalming house and into the night, letting the stone door settle closed behind us. The cool air meets our skin gently, carrying the smell of the river and damp earth. The city is quiet at this hour. Most fires have burned low, and voices have faded into sleep. Our sandals move softly against the ground as we begin the walk home. The path is familiar, worn smooth by years of passing feet. Each step feels unhurried now. There is no work waiting, no task to complete. The night belongs only to movement and breath. The Nile lies nearby, unseen but present, its slow rhythm steady and reassuring. We can hear it faintly, water brushing against the banks, unchanged by the passing of days or lifetimes. The river has watched countless embalmers walk this same path, carrying their thoughts home beneath the stars. As we walk, the tension we did not realize we were holding begins to loosen. Our hands, so careful and precise all night, relax at our sides. The smell of resin still lingers faintly on our skin, a reminder of the work just completed. It will fade by morning, but tonight it feels grounding, a mark of our craft. We think quietly about the lessons learned, how patience matters more than speed, how silence teaches as much as instruction. On this first night, the work felt heavier in thought than in body, but that weight now settles into understanding rather than worry. A light breeze moves through the palms, stirring the leaves with a soft whisper. Above us, the stars stretch across the sky, steady and distant. They feel familiar, not because we know them, but because they have always been there, watching over nights like this one. Our pace remains slow and even. There is no destination we rush toward. Home will come when it comes. For now, the walk itself is enough. Each step carries us further from the chamber, yet the calm of that space follows with us, carried inward rather than left behind. The street narrows and the sounds of the city grow more distant. All that remains is the quiet rhythm of walking, breathing, and listening to the night. The world feels balanced again, as if everything has returned to its proper place. We continue on, guided by habit rather than thought. The night holds us gently as we move through it, unhurried and at ease. Nothing more is required, nothing more needs to be done. The walk continues and time begins to feel less defined. The night does not hurry us, and we no longer measure it in steps or distance. It stretches outward, wide and patient, allowing each moment to settle before the next arrives. Our breathing finds a slow, comfortable rhythm, rising and falling in time with our steady pace. The air cools slightly as we draw closer to the river. Moisture clings faintly to the breeze, brushing against our skin and easing the warmth that still lingers from the torchlit chamber. We notice the change without analyzing it. The body responds naturally, relaxing into the cooler night. Sounds drift in and out of awareness. Water moving gently against the banks, a single night bird calling once, then falling silent. Somewhere far away, a faint rustle of leaves stirred by the wind. Nothing demands attention. Everything exists quietly, exactly as it should. A gentle tiredness settles into our muscles, not heavy or uncomfortable, but earned and calm. The kind of fatigue that follows careful, deliberate work. Our shoulders lower, our hands rest loosely at our sides. The mind releases its grip on the day, allowing thoughts to slow and soften. The path beneath our feet looks much the same with every step. Stone, packed earth, and shadow blend together in the dim starlight. We do not mark how far we have gone or how much farther remains. Distance feels unimportant now. The walk itself has become the purpose. Thoughts drift through the mind without weight, fragments of the night's work, the quiet discipline of the craft, the steady patience required of an embalmer. Each thought appears briefly, then fades away, leaving space behind it. Above us the stars remain fixed and calm. Their light does not waver as we move beneath them. They watch the work unfold, and they watch its completion, indifferent yet comforting in their constancy. It is easy to imagine countless others walking these same paths under the same sky, carried by the same quiet. Our steps remain slow and even. Each one follows the last without effort or instruction. Walking becomes something the body remembers on its own, freeing the mind to rest fully in the present moment. The night deepens, but it does not feel dark in an unsettling way. Instead, it feels protective. Quiet settles around us like soft linen, familiar and reassuring, smoothing away the sharp edges of the day. We breathe in slowly and deeply. We breathe out just as gently. The river continues its steady movement nearby. The stars remain overhead. The path remains beneath our feet. And so we continue walking, calm and unhurried, with nowhere we need to arrive and nothing left to hold on to except the stillness of the night itself.